what do we have this week? A tester. And this looks like potentially another green matrix display, like this. I might end up with way more of these than I know what to do with soon. And let's compare the circuitry this time. It looks like the same circuit, so if it is green, it should be directly compatible with this. And this is configured as an FC16. Try to keep the pins aligned. Power it back up, let it initialize. I put a boot message on there so I know at least it's alive while it's connecting to Wi-Fi. Looks like it's joined. And it's running. Of course, now I need to put a custom message back in. It just defaults to sub count. We are doing a mailbag, so let's add that. All right, configured. It looks like I bought 3 of these green LEDs of the MAX7219 matrix display like this. This is just an arbitrary listing I pulled up. I did not pay this price. I paid $425 US, including shipping. Out of the 3 that I've bought, and I've received 2 so far, they don't really have listings anymore for it. So we'll just go with the fact that they are constantly being sold, just probably by some regular sellers. I think Sheng Longzi here sells them regularly, and some other people sell them occasionally. So MAX7219 controlling an 8x8 matrix, and there's 4 of those in one. They have SPI communication, and in the description, these listings that definitely say the color of light are the ones I've been buying, and now it seems to be working out. Instead of being surprised when it says blue, but I get red light, now I see green light and I get green light so far. I'm still waiting for the 1 more green and maybe at least 2 blues. It took either 3 or 4 weeks to get here, depending which of the auctions I bought are the ones that have arrived. So actually, why don't I join these together to make an 8-panel wide Sine? I don't have the proper mating connector to go over here, so I could just plug them in. And these holes are kind of close to the edge of the board anyway. The boards would end up separated a bit, but you want them right next to each other. I'm just going to put wire links temporarily from the edge of one to the other and change the code to make this 8 panels wide. So there's one of those horrible temporary soldering jobs that's probably going to be permanent, but we now have a single panel that's 8 modules wide. Let's hook that up. So it's just duplicating the displays right now because I did not configure the panel to be 8 wide. Now I changed the code, max device is 8 instead of 4, and now it's got 8. It's centering the text. Add in my custom message. Let's continue. I got this on the same day, and it's described as 5 times 40 pin female header. Because I need to restock all kinds of 0.1 inch headers. And yes, I have all kinds of straight or right angled male headers, but eventually you need straight or right angled female headers so you can plug them in. 5 pieces, 1 row, 40 pin, 2.54 millimeter right angled single row female pin header connector. $78 US from King Electronics 15. It took 3 weeks to get here, and there's not much to say about these, and I mostly have male headers and thought it's time to stock up on the female side. This is my old red panel, so it's too bad these right angled headers won't work for this, because when you put these in the holes that are too close to the edge of the board for this, and you would plug another module in, when those pins dock to this header, the modules have a certain amount of space between them. I can't easily show that here, but I did do this off camera. It's too much of a gap. So I don't know if there is a header that will allow this to dock nicely. Maybe these holes on the edge of the board were only ever meant to have a wire link on the PCB layout between the two until you snap it. and they weren't really intending board to board. If anyone knows of a female 0.1 inch header that would work for this, leave a comment. I would like to be able to do it with connectors instead of permanent soldered wire links that are inevitably going to fall apart. This is called 1x USB cable adapter, and there's 4 separate lines on the list of contents. I don't recall ordering 4 USB cables, and it doesn't look like USB cables. It looks colorful. Oh, multicolor Spudgers. 2 sandwich bags nested. This is kind of like playing pickup sticks. So the first thing I notice, it looks like I have 5 of each of these 4 colors. I could have sworn I ordered 10 of each of these colors. The reason I wanted these, I only have 2 of these black ones, and they've been getting damaged as I use them for various things. So now I have multicolors as well. Not that that really matters, but they offered it, so why not? I had thought maybe I ordered 10 of each color and I only got 5. Now I looked at my exact listing and I did only order 5 of each, but I thought 10 because the listing says 10 times anti-static plastic Spudger stick opening pry repair tool for iPhone and Samsung. I did get it from VIP Fixed Phone, and you get a choice of 5 or 10 pieces. So I got the 5, 99 cents US, for each color. And it's a Spudger for spudging. Use it to point with, poke with, pry things with. Of course though, as happened with my old black one, you can pry too much and break the tip off, and then you gotta buy more. These came relatively fast, 2 weeks and 5 days. Now we have 1x modules. What could this one be? I think this is another function generator. Last week I got a kit, but this is a different one, and it's already assembled based on ICL 8038, as it says on the back as well. So we have 5 adjustment trimmer pots, not really labeled for function. We have an output header and some sort of selection jumpers in a couple of places. So I don't know how to use this just yet. ICL 8038 function signal generator IC, do-it-yourself sine square triangle wave DDS BBC, Best Buy CA, and they have several versions here. I got this one here, but there's different configurations with different components and amount of potentiometers. I don't know if I can figure out why I chose this particular one, but the price, $376. Took about 4 weeks to arrive. So this yellow circuit board one, 10 Hz to 300 kHz. The blue one, 10 Hz to 450 kHz. And this other low frequency configuration, I think there's a missing decimal here, up to 300 kHz. So maybe I wanted this for a good balance of adjustability and wider frequency. So here's the IC, not recommended for new designs. April 2001 is this data sheet. So wide frequency range, 0.001 Hz to 300 kHz. Why do I have 450 kHz? I'll have to look into all this kind of stuff. So it looks like straight out of the chip we get our separate waveforms. Sine out, triangle out, square out. I wonder what would happen if I tried to breadboard this representative schematic. I don't think I'm up for that, but there might be some educational merit in studying this. Seems like the datasheet has a lot of info here on calculating stuff. Frequency modulation and sweeping, where we can control the frequency with a DC voltage. So there's lots of application circuits. So I look forward to evaluating this for usability at a low cost if we want a nice, easy way to get a signal generator without paying for an actual benchtop full test equipment style unit. This is called Garment, and I think it's this Ripstop fabric that I ordered. Yeah, it looks like it. So, and it comes with a unicorn. I'm going to guess this says leave positive feedback. We would appreciate feedback. This reminds me of the material that ESD smocks are made out of, lab coats and stuff. So Ripstop, I don't know, I guess it's supposed to be resistant to tearing and costumes are made out of this. But the reason I wanted this, apparently it's also good for diffusing LEDs or other lights. Now there's a lot of this, more than I can fit in the frame. So there it is, with and without fabric. It has to be stretched tight, and I don't know that I did that well. It seems to look better if I force it flat, and also maybe in lower light. So I'll have to think about if this makes sense to do in this application. Because it's not fully stretched tight, it kind of makes it fuzzier, and it may be washing it out a bit. Another use for this fabric could be to maybe soften any ambient lighting. If you just have this on its own, you get this intense centered light. When you add the fabric, you get a more diffused, softer light. Maybe you can also use this fabric to frame some sort of a wooden or cardboard cutout frame, have this material on it, shine lights through it, and create one of those photography light boxes. So you can take pictures of things and they show up professional looking. So now I have that spotlight mounted just above here. The difference may be subtle, so it's just the light itself, so it may have more of a glare. Now I'll just put a part of this cloth over it, and it sort of evens it out. There's still going to be a brighter spot where it's focused, but it might take the shine off of things. And if the light is in your face, if you're filming, this also makes that easier to tolerate. Now I'll turn that light off. Ripstop waterproof outdoor fabric 190T PU coated polyester kite flag yard Zaione. Okay, from that word crafts. I got white 1 yard, so it's about 1 by 1.5 yards, I think. $389 US. Took about 4 weeks. Polyester polyurethane coating. A grid of squares, 3 millimeters, I guess. Thickness about 0.1 millimeters. It says it's waterproof, lightweight, remains strong because of the reinforcing grid woven into the material. So yes, Ripstop fabrics are woven fabrics often made of nylon, using a special reinforcing technique, making them resistant to tearing and ripping. Used in sails, hot air balloons, kites, parachutes, high-quality camping equipment like lightweight tents, sleeping bags, hammocks, or diffusing LEDs. This project looks like it has some NeoPixels, used white nylon Ripstop fabric to diffuse the NeoPixel display, and that project is over at Adafruit. So yeah, you can kind of see it's a little blurry, fuzzy behind the fabric, especially this is just slipped behind it, it's not firmly pressed up against it. So for a large display, once it's scrolling and stuff, maybe it's fine, but I don't know how it's going to do on the matrix display with that size of LED and close up. Maybe you need to see it at a distance, like a billboard, to appreciate it. While we're here, this uses NeoPixel display. This makes me want to go shopping. Whatever this scrolling message is, here's the code. I'm going to link this below. And then you throw it behind the fabric and drive off. All right, we have another green LED matrix to add to our display. A bunch of colorful spudgers, so hopefully I won't run out anytime soon. Some Ripstop fabric that hopefully can be used to diffuse some lights and provide some useful function. Speaking of function, another function generator, already assembled, ready to be tested, and some right-angled 0.1-inch headers. So thanks to my Patreon supporters for making all this possible. Thanks for stopping by. If you know how to find a right-angled header that will work nicely board to board for these displays, or any other questions, information, comment below.